Hello. Uno is still
Hello.
unresponsive. Okay, we've been having technical issues, so please bear with us. But welcome to. Shall I do the video? I'm going to do the video now, and it's going to hurt everybody's ears. I think it's a bit loud. Anyway. Yeah, if that was really loud, apologies. Oh, we've lost Uno.
So you can see where the technical difficulties came from.
We're going to keep going. It's okay. We've lost our captain, but we will steer the ship. Yeah, this is why we are about 15 minutes late. You know, who cares punctuality? It's not cool nowadays. Uno's back. Welcome back, Uno. And I'm going to start the slideshow now. It's very well put together. I know, very entertaining. 2025 Australian Grand Prix predictions. And hopefully we should all have audio and we should all be able to explain them. So let's go ahead.
Yes.
First of all, we have the prediction for pole position, which is something new we're doing this year. We didn't do it last year. Sort of leveling up because pole is quite important. Although points aren't scored on Saturday. Who cares? We're going to do pole. And first of all, we'll start with me.
Okay, can you hear me? I don't know if this is working.
Uno's back.
Yes, we can hear you.
The real question is, can you hear us? The answer, probably not. I have gone with Lando Norris for pole position. And my thought process here is he was very, very good qualifier last year. McLaren seemed to be the fastest car, and reports are that they were sandbagging, which gasp, shock, horror in preseason testing. Who could have guessed?
Crazy.
You know, as much as I love you can. Good.
Whether or not I can hear you.
Oh.
I think there's a significant delay.
I think the delay might be like 2 minutes.
I think it's actually quite upsetting. If I were you, move back to your phone, honestly. Have the weird audio, because the delay is actually worse.
Okay, Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, we'll wait for you for your pole prediction. Don't worry. This is very well put together. You know?
Yes.
The best stream we've done yet. And yes, so I think the McLarens are going to be fast. And as much as I'd love Oscar to be the one to put it on pole, you know, I'm biased, right? I think it's more realistic that it's going to be Lando. So that is who I've gone with. And now, Tay, we will move on to your pole position prediction.
Yes.
Which is a mouthful.
Yes, I have also gone with Lando Norris. I'm in the same boat. I want it to be Oscar. I am an Oscar fan and an Aussie. You know, oh no, the flag fell. But yes, I do think the McLarens were just so quick, and carrying on from last year, they're just going to be so quick. We saw in in preseason testing that they were up there like all 3 days, and obviously Lando is a very good qualifier. Oscar he was having trouble with qualifying last year, and I think this year he'll work it out, but I don't know round one if he'll do it.
Yeah,
that's my thoughts.
Okay. Uno, the real question is, can you hear us? And do you want to tell us your pole position prediction?
I can hear you, but I think you can also hear my dogs fucking barking because, of course, everything's
okay.
Shut the fuck up! Okay, sorry. Sorry. Shut up, dog. Okay, so I predicted Charles Leclerc to be on pole, and hopefully Ferrari will not have as many challenges this weekend as I've had connecting to this live stream. So yeah, excited to see what they can pull off, but I think that Charles is he's a bit of a quali goat, and I feel like the Ferrari is a lot faster than people are anticipating. So yeah, Charles for pole.
Lovely. And now we have all the predictions of the people who couldn't make it. And I don't know how we want to do this because we didn't discuss it because we didn't have time. But here we go. I think we're going to alternate. Yeah, it all pops out like one. It's a big sort of explosion of predictions. We've got Kira and me who both predicted Charles, and Lee and Willow, who both predicted Lando. So I think they're both quite safe choices because Charles and Lando are, sort of some of the best qualifiers. And if you think about who has the better car, right? So I think we've all gone quite safe, but it's also quite smart. Now, bang. Podium 3rd place. Let's get into it. I have gone with Oscar. And now this is because I'm trying to move in silence this weekend. I didn't want to jinx anything, but I still couldn't predict him off the podium. So I'm thinking fast McLaren. Maybe he doesn't do as well in qualifying. Just the same stuff as Tay said, really. And let's hope. And sort of this weekend will dictate my mood for the next week. So it has to be good. Tay.
I've gone with Lando. I don't know what's going to happen, but we've seen Australia before. It gets a bit messy, especially up the front, going into like turn 1, turn 2. So I think it might get a little bit mixed up there, and Lando might fall back a little bit. We know he isn't the best starter. He did improve last year, but he isn't the best, I think. I think someone else, whoever qualifies P2, P3, might get the start on him at the beginning of the race and just stay there, I guess.
Okay, thank you, Tay. Now, Uno, who have you predicted for the 3rd place position?
I just realized you kind of usurped my hosting role. But
yeah, well,
cool.
It was. You can take it back if you want. It was just a spur of the moment thing. You were in the
I'm not used to waiting.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, this is so weird. Like, I just sit here and listen. This is quite interesting. It's a new experience.
Yeah. This is how we feel.
No, it's cool. Okay, so I've gone with Lewis Hamilton in P3. I think he will get a podium on his debut with Ferrari. As I've already said, I think they're quite a strong team. And I as I said in our season predictions, I do think it's going to take Lewis a little bit longer to get to grips with the Ferrari than Charles. So that's why I've put him in P3. And that might spoil a little bit of the rest of the podium for everyone listening and who's able to read between the lines. But yes, so Lewis Hamilton, let's go.
Okay, now, Tay, would you like to reveal, and don't worry, I'll change the slide,
Okay.
who everybody else predicted for 3rd place?
Okay, everyone else so we've got Kira with George, Lee and Neve with Charles, and Willow with Max Verstappen. I think the Max Verstappen choice is a pretty good shout, because I feel like on this podcast we do a bit of underestimating Max, despite the fact that he is a 4-time world champion. Like, if you watched the season predictions, we kind of just forgot about him for the top 3 places. So I think definitely considering Max on the podium is a good shout. And then obviously Charles, some people predicted him pole. He obviously is up there in people's minds, and the car looks fast. And then George, I think it's possible. Yeah. I don't know. Does anyone else have anything to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that I thought putting Max in 3rd place was a bit ambitious, because Max said, I can't remember when, that a podium would be like a really good outcome and that the Red Bull's quite far behind. But Willow in the chat did just say, looking at the weather predictions, I wish I put him higher, which is very true. And we will get onto that later.
Yes, okay. So I'm taking back my show. For 2nd place podium. Immy, could you please tell us who you predicted will come 2nd in the race?
Yes, I will. So in a similar sort of vein to Tay, I've gone with Lando having pole, but not keeping it for the win. And this is just like, I'm wondering if the McLaren may be a better qualifier. And I know it's been very good in race pace as well, but I wonder if in the conditions, or since it's rainy, the strategy, right? Because McLaren made a few sort of, especially I'm thinking British Grand Prix, leaving Oscar out for an extra lap, and he lost like 20 seconds. They're not great in the rain, right? So this might cost Lando.
Yes. Okay. So Lando having a bit of a slippy start. I can totally see that happening. Unfortunately for his reputation, it does follow him around. So yeah, good call there, Immy. Tay, who have you predicted for P2?
I've gone with Max Verstappen. I think I predicted this before the forecast came out with the rain, but I'm happy with it because Max in the rain is just a beast. So I think we'll see him either he'll be in the top two, I think. Either number 2 or on the top step of the podium. But for my sake, I'm hoping it's P2 because I've put a bit of a wish on my P1. I know we're supposed to move in silence. I'm not being silent, I'm sorry.
We can balance each other out. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Tay. Yeah, I mean, Max Verstappen is definitely, if not the best, one of the top 2 best drivers on the track. So the chances of him getting a podium are quite high. So good call there. From my side, I've also gone with Lando Norris. I think he'll have a very strong race. I don't think he's going to have any issues, to be perfectly honest. I just think that the driver that I've put for P1 will just have a better race. That's all. So yeah, Lando continuing on from his very strong 2024 season. I think he will come P2. And then I shall reveal, or Emmy shall reveal, and I shall narrate the others. Kira has predicted Charles Leclerc in P2. Lee and Neve have predicted Oscar Piastri in P2. And Willow has predicted Lando Norris in P2. So mixed bag there, but a lot of Landos and a lot of Oscars. So
Yeah,
McLaren looking strong.
Higher podium.
Yep.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
definitely seem like the ones to beat.
Yeah, especially with yeah, I think McLaren are going to be very strong this year. So it makes sense that we're seeing a lot of them on the predictions. So yeah, cool. And then next up we have for first place. So who is going to win the Australian GP? Emmy, who do you think is going to win it?
I have gone with Charles Leclerc. And see, I think this might be a little bit of a dumb decision just because it seems like McLaren, they might have a bit of a monstrous gap to everybody else. That's sort of the rumor right now. They were sandbagging in preseason and they were actually quite near the top anyway. But I'm thinking that Charles is good around Australia. He got a Grand Slam there in 2022. He sort of lost the opportunity to win it last year when he had a bad qualifying, which obviously ended up going to Carlos when Max DNF'd. And so maybe I'm thinking he's going to try and come into this with a bit of like revenge. I want to win it this time. And I don't know if the willpower can make the car go faster, but we'll see.
Tay, who have you predicted for first?
As I said, I'm putting a lot of hopes on this one. I've gone for Oscar Piastri. I will be happy if he ends up anywhere on the podium, because an Australian on the podium in Australia, how long has it been since we saw that? Has it ever?
I don't think it has happened.
It's never, right? But because okay, no, never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel was on the podium, but then he got disqualified.
He got disqualified, yes.
So never.
We've never seen an Aussie on the podium in Australia.
It's what needs to happen.
We're going to see it this weekend. It's going to happen on Sunday.
It's going to happen.
It's going to be Oscar Piastri, and I hope the Australian
like it was going to be Jack Doohan.
Yeah,
in the Alpine.
Yeah, Jack Doohan in the Alpine is going to go right
Brazil
to the front.
2.0.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Oscar Piastri. I think a home-cooked meal, being in your hometown, he'll be relaxed. He knows this track. And he knows, I hope he can do it in the rain. Because the weather looks bad, but I hope he can do it and get to that top step.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Tay. Yeah, it would be a huge day for Oscar if he could win his home Grand Prix. So for his sake, I hope you're right, and for your sake. But for my sake, I hope you're very much wrong, because I have gone for Charles Leclerc, because I think, yeah, I mean, McLaren can sandbag, but so can Ferrari. Like, let's be honest, Jam. And I agree that there's maybe a bit of extra motivation to sort of make amends for last season. But I also think there's an added motivation to sort of stake its claim on the team now that Lewis is there. Because I think that as much as there's all very happy family, pretty photo shoots and Fred hugging them and laughing, that's going to last about turn 2. And then, not even, probably the formation lap. And then they become rivals and they got to beat each other. And Charles never had, well, he had Sebastian. Was he teamed with Sebastian? Did I just make that up in my head?
No.
Yeah, he was. Okay, so he's raced
like
with
2
world
years
champions.
or more.
Yeah, so he has raced with world champions, but like, you are talking about the greatest driver the sport has ever known. That's quite a motivation to beat him and sort of stake your claim. So I think he's going to have that extra energy behind him. Whether that translates into horsepower, I don't know, but I think he's going to be super focused, and I think that can often make a difference, especially if there's going to be rain, because the smallest mistake can ruin your race. So yeah, I've gone with Charles Leclerc. Immy, would you like to tell us who the other people are?
Yes, I
Predicting.
would. Okay, so Lee, Neve, and Kira have all gone with Lando Norris, and Willow has gone with Charles Leclerc. So it's a very sort of split team situation here for the top step. No Red Bull, no Mercedes. And I'm thinking this is probably the way the season is going to play out. And it's a question of who can handle the rain better, because to go back to strategy, but both of these teams aren't the best. You'd be thinking, you want the Red Bull strategy team in the McLaren car. But
Yeah,
yes.
I don't think McLaren or Ferrari are too well known for their good strategy.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough.
I think McLaren just need to decide soon, like within the first, I would say, 5 races of the season, which driver they're backing for the championship. And obviously Lando and Oscar must prove that in how they're racing. But McLaren can't afford to pretend that they have 2 number 1 drivers. Same as Ferrari.
A bit of a counterpoint. If they are as far ahead as sort of the rumors have been saying, that they were sandbagging so much, and you can argue anyone can sandbag, yeah, but I follow the rumor. Let's just be in the gossip, right? Then is it going to be a sort of Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg, where it doesn't matter that they're fighting for the championship because they're so far ahead? In which case, do you need one of you?
In that case, no, let them race. It's fine. But we'll know by race 5 if it's every single race has been a McLaren 1-2. We'll know. Okay, they're the champions this year, so it's going to be between one of them, and then you let them race, and maybe you get a sneaky Ferrari driver coming right at the end of the season to snatch it away from them, a la Kimi Raikkonen, because we've seen 2 McLaren drivers gunning for a championship, and the Ferrari snuck in right at the end and took it. So yeah, I mean, it could become quite interesting to watch. But yeah, I do think that McLaren made some problematic choices last season, and it potentially cost Lando a better shot at winning the championship. Would he have won it had things worked out differently?
I don't think so.
I mean, there's different things. I think his attitude would have been different had he had the backing of his team to go for the. And I think that I think we overlook the psychological factor of what it takes to win a championship. It's not just the car. It's not just your skill. There's another added layer to it that I don't think he had last season. And I think McLaren are somewhat responsible for it. I don't think it's just McLaren. And I think he maybe spent too much time looking at Twitter and Facebook and whatever, Instagram,
I also
TikTok
think
videos.
yeah, I think how quickly he went from looking for his first win to going for his first championship would also play into that. Because if you think
Yeah.
at the beginning of 2024, he had no wins. He wasn't even thinking about the championship. He was looking for his first win, and then 6 months later, he was in the fight for the championship. That quick change would like mess with your head so much. I think he just wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
This year, he
No, 100%.
possibly is, definitely.
Yeah. No, it's a huge leap to go from. I mean, didn't McLaren start not last season, the season before in last place or something?
Yeah,
Like they were,
2023.
yeah. And then to go from that to, okay, we're now in the running for a drivers' championship. I mean, I know I speak about him a lot, but like that's kind of what Jenson Button did. He went from like one of the worst cars on the grid to all of a sudden having a like championship winning car. And he did speak about how that was quite psychologically difficult to like wrap your head around, you know, from going from being this back marker to being in contention to win a championship is a lot to deal with. And it's difficult, you know. So yeah, we'll see how his mental game plays is this year. But yeah, hello cat. Sorry, there's another cat. Okay, so that's who we think is gonna win. But we also like to predict something that's maybe a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun. So we do have our wild card predictions. For those of you that watched last year, you know that this is something that we think is going to happen during the race. It's not about a podium, but it can be sort of, we think a certain driver is going to finish in the points, or it could be that we think a certain thing is going to happen during the race weekend. It can be on track or off track. So, Immy, why don't you start us off and tell us who your wild card prediction is?
My wild card prediction is that there will be a shock Q2 exit in qualifying. So I'm thinking from a top 4 team, and I mean, it could be a rookie, it could be Kimmy, or it could be Liam, who we're not calling a rookie, but you know, first full season, right? But just anybody from a top 4 team not making it through to Q3. And I don't know how much of a shock it is if it's the first race, but that is what I've decided to predict.
That's a lovely image you used there, Immy. I really like it.
Yeah, I wonder who picked it. Never know.
Tay, could you let us know what your wildcard prediction is?
My prediction is that only 15 drivers will finish the Grand Prix. It's going to be rainy, it's going to be wet, it's going to be hectic, I think. And we saw in Brazil last year, I just looked it up like while you guys were speaking, and 15 people finished then as well. And we do have, I don't want to push the rookies will always crash, like rookies are bad drivers thing, but they are inexperienced in these cars in the rain. Like they had a little bit of that at preseason testing, but obviously they're not racing other cars. They're not going around tight turns 3 cars wide. So I think it'll be a bit of chaos, first and second lap probably. And yeah, I think 15 drivers will finish the Grand Prix.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad call because I mean last year was it Australia where Daniel and Alex connected on the opening lap? Was that Japan?
Yeah.
What happened in Australia? Didn't something bad happen in Australia?
George last lap?
Oh,
yeah, George.
That was the Alonso George thing. Okay, I was thinking of the wrong
and that
racetrack.
was
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I think, you know, first lap of the first race of the season of your first ever Formula One season, yeah, you're probably, I mean, I think you're more likely to make a mistake than not. And let's just see, maybe it will just be I didn't get off the line quite fast enough. And that'll be like a manageable mistake as opposed to going into someone else and ruining your race. So yeah, I think that's a good shot from you, Tay. My wild card prediction is that I think it's that Esteban Ocon is going to finish in the points. Yes, it is. Okay, I couldn't quite remember. Yeah, so I think Esti with the Haas. I don't think Haas is going to be the top 5 team this season, but I do think that they will at least start the season off strong. They might falter out towards the end, sort of in opposition to how they did last season. but I do think that Esteban is going to be wanting to. I don't know, I think there's a little bit of like revenge mode there for him and what's going on with Alpine, and I think he'd very much like it if he could finish ahead of Pierre, in like P8, or if some of the other predictions are correct, even higher because of a top 4 team driver is out. So yeah, I think Esti will finish in the points, and I will be cheering him on. But we've got 4 other wildcard predictions. So, Immy, I think you know them better than I do. So, do you want to talk us through that?
I will talk you through them. No, I think I can do this from memory. Okay.
Okay, let's see.
I don't know if I trust myself. Kira's prediction is that I think, oh good God, I'm going to go to the predictions, but also I think Kira's prediction is that a rookie will be in the points, and that is specifically Kimmy or Gabrielle or Isaac, and that's why I use that image. Let me make certain.
That is what it is.
Rookie on debut. Thank you. Yes. Okay. And then next up is Lee, and Lee's prediction was 2 rookie DNFs, which I think is, given the rain, pretty safe. And I mean, like, yet again, nothing against rookies, but if you see, let's use Ollie Behrman, for example, he was great in Saudi Arabia, he was great in Baku, and then it sort of fell apart a bit in Brazil. And that was definitely in part due to the conditions. So nothing against rookies, but it's just being able to handle rain well comes with experience. Neve's prediction, at this point, how much of a wild card, but it was quite a few days ago, so I'll let her have it, is that there will be rain during the race. So, ooh, shock, guys.
Wild.
And then Willow's prediction is that Kimi Antonelli will score points on debut, which is sort of like Kira's. Maybe they both get a win for that one. So sort of locked in, kind of, unless Kimi is the one out in Q2.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I'm in 2 minds about the Kimi decision, because I'm like, yeah, he's in a Mercedes, of course he's going to get points. And then you're like, well, actually, there's rain, it's first race, it's, you know, so many things. And so it's like, yeah, it's probably a good shout. It's like probably a solid prediction to get that extra point. But at the same time, it could go awfully wrong. So yeah, I like it. It's a fun one. Makes us think a bit about what could potentially happen.
Yeah, I think the rain the forecast for rain has really thrown anything on the table. Like, it could be points, could be DNF, could be anything. Neve apparently is getting points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it does look that way, doesn't it?
Speaking about the forecast, let's just quickly read it to you. There is a 50% chance of rain in Melbourne this is particularly on Sunday during the race. So I took like a screenshot of an hour before the race, during the race, and an hour after. And it's all 50%, 50%, 50%. I think another noticeable thing is that the temperature is going to be a few degrees lower than last year. So I think last year it was in the low 20s. This year we're looking at like the high to mid teens. So, you know, they can't just rely on what they learned last year at the race, because the track conditions are going to be potentially quite different. I do wonder, given that, do you guys think that the teams that brought those intermediate tires to Bahrain are kind of sitting in Melbourne right now and grinning a little bit, that they have at least a little bit of data on how those tires work in wet conditions?
I mean, probably, but who was it? Like Haas and Aston Martin?
Yeah, and Aston Martin didn't even use them, I don't think.
And okay, so just Haas. And I mean, that might lead to some Haas points, to be honest, if they have that data, but it won't give them a massive leg up. I mean, because they can't really be up there with Mercedes and etc. The top 4. But I mean, I don't even know if Aston is a clear 5th place, so we don't really know who the 5th place team is.
I think Aston and Sauber are going to be fighting. I think Aston and Sauber, they are.
They're all the way back. But yeah, we don't know who the 5th place team is going to be, and so that is like an open sort of 2 spots in the points every race at least. And so if
Yeah.
Haas have this leg up on the sort of the large amount of midfield, then that will really help them.
Yeah, just another thing with the weather. I was looking earlier, and on Saturday it's going to be 27 to 30 degrees.
Oh yeah.
So that qualifying, that track temperature, that air temperature is so hot compared to the next day, 18 degrees. Like, it's going to be so difficult on the drivers. The conditions are going to be so different. I think it's going to be a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea what the temperatures are going to be like on Friday? Are they also hot? I forgot to check Friday.
I can check. I have Melbourne saved in my phone.
I feel like Friday's not as hot as Saturday, I don't think.
Because, you know, they might be able to get some dates on Friday morning or something.
Yeah. Friday is 25 degrees. Saturday is 32 degrees. And then Sunday is maximum 24. So Friday and Sunday will be about the same temperature, but there'll be rain on Sunday.
So different tyres.
Yeah.
So really, the free practices are kind of bust. You can't...
Yeah.
When the track temperature is so much higher on Saturday. Oh, well.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think it will be a fun race. I love a season opener with a bit of drama because, like, the last couple of years have just been like, okay, Max takes pole, Max takes the win.
Yeah. Well, the last couple Australian groups have been a bit chaotic as well, haven't they?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. So I'm like glad that it's actually starting in Australia because Australia gives us a bit more fun.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, so I think that's kind of everything we had to say. Is there anything anyone else wants to mention before we go? Immy?
I don't have anything.
Doesn't seem so.
Okay.
I mean, one thing I think that is interesting is that Alpine have signed another reserve driver.
Yes, so, they have like 5 reserve drivers now.
What is it? Like 5 or 4? 4.
They're collecting them like Pokemon at this point. It's Aaron, what's his name? Rio,
yes.
Yeah. There's Colapinto. There's
Kushmani, the new one.
Kush, yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay, they got 4.
So there's 4. That's
like, you know, if you're, I mean, I don't know why. What do you gain from being the 4th reserve driver?
Yeah. They want. I think they're doing that to, you know, like how Red Bull tried to get money out of other teams with Yuki Tsunoda by like signing him in so that other teams would have to pay more. I think because Flavio is all about making money for the team. He wants the team to be in like a very profitable space so they can sell it. So I can see either it's about positioning these drivers to get like almost in like a Hunger Games scenario to get the best possible one so that when they do sell it, they can be like, look, we've got this guy. He beat all of these other guys in the time trials or whatever they do. Alternatively, it's to like boost their profit margin if they try and get them to go to another team.
That's a pretty good idea, because if you look at the talent that you have in those reserve drivers, they're some of the best drivers we've seen in the junior series for the last couple of years. Like Colapinto, Kushmani is pretty strong, and Paul Aaron. Paul Aaron, people were saying, was one of the strongest drivers in F2 last season. He was just unlucky, a lot of people were saying. So I think using them as like a pawn, I guess, to just like get money out of other teams and just lend them to other teams for experience is a very good idea. I think it could get them a lot of money.
I would not want to touch that team with a 10-foot pole, though. To be honest, it's just.
I mean, I don't think. I think when it sells, I don't think Flavio comes with it. I think his job is just to get it sold, and then he's gone.
I hope so, because him being in the paddock is a whole just like why and how.
So gross. So gross.
He shouldn't be there.
Yeah, and like you kind of wonder, like people like so like I know it's probably the most high profile like part owner of the team is Ryan Reynolds, but like how does that mesh with his brand, you know, to be associated with this like dodgy
But like, how much does Ryan really own? It's like barely anything, surely. It's like they've
Well,
got
they
10
keep
million
doing
celebrities
Deadpool
that own a
things.
Well,
stake.
it's enough. It's enough to get them like Deadpool shit on the car, and they even
Yeah,
use the
that's true.
Deadpool theme music in their video that they made for the season. They did that Celine Dion "Beauty Comes Out of Ashes" song from the Deadpool movie. Great song, by the way. Love Celine Dion. You know, I love to see her featured in an F1 scenario. That's great. But yeah, like he clearly has some pool there. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wants to make a profit as well. So he's like, yeah, you know, I don't know what his ethics and morals are like, but I just find it
I
odd
think
that
the average person isn't like looking at Ryan Reynolds and going, "Oh, he works with Flavio Briatore. I won't watch his films." You know, most people don't know. Like it was high profile, but it was high profile like a good long while ago, and most people have forgotten. I feel.
yeah. Well, we shall see. We
Yeah.
shall see. So I think that's about it. What I want to say is I will not be able to watch the full Grand Prix on Sunday because I will be catching my plane to Japan. I know I'll be able to watch like the opening laps, and then I have to get on a plane to fly to Johannesburg so I can catch another plane, and I'll try and watch the replay after that. But we will have a reaction episode, which at the moment it's Immy and Kira.
Yeah, and
Is that
hopefully we'll
correct?
snag somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try and get Lee or Neve or someone on as well. But Tay and I will not be able to do the reaction episode. So we do hope that you all have lots of fun watching the race and that you will tune in for that reaction episode, which will be on the same day as the race, Immy?
Yes, it will be on Sunday. I want to say, don't hold me to this. Let me check. I want to say it will be at 5 p.m.
Okay.
GMT specifically. Keeping in mind.
Okay, well,
all the
if
lucky
I
time
can
zones around
get
the
some
world.
Wi-Fi on my plane, I shall tune in and I shall watch along. I will not be making an appearance because I don't think the people in the seats next to me would like me yapping on about Formula One for like 2 hours. Yeah. But yeah, so make sure you tune in. Remember to subscribe if you're not already subscribed because you will be able to get the notifications for the live stream, which is awesome. Are we doing hearts? Okay, I like that one. I like that one. So yeah, do that thing and leave a like as well because it's nice. It helps us with the algorithm, and
'Cause
it's
it's
also just a
nice.
way to say we enjoyed this. So yeah, thanks very much. I think we have a whole thing that we're supposed to say. The road to Australia is finally clear.
Yeah,
Do we not
this
do
is
that
how we're
anymore?
operating without a script. I feel like it's just
Yeah.
because we don't have the script in front of us.
Yeah, but
The
we used
road
to
to
have a whole thing.
Australia
We'd be
is
like,
clear.
yes, because we're Traffic Paradise Radio. So about like, yeah. So the road to the
We have a
Australian Grand
concept,
Prix
guys.
is finally clear. So,
I don't think the roads in Melbourne are ever clear, actually.
okay, well, try and take some public transport if you can. You know, just ease that
Get the
congestion
tram.
and get to
Yeah, get the Oscar
to the track.
tram.
Get to the track. I saw there was a Honda tram as well. I think I would go for the Honda
Ooh.
one myself. But
Really?
yeah.
I'm getting on the Oscar tram.
I'm getting on the Oscar tram and then the Honda tram.
Honda
I'm getting on the
merchant for
both.
life. That's me. Look, don't you? You've got a Honda hat now, don't you, Tay? Was
I
that the hat
do.
you were showing earlier? Yeah.
Yes, wait, let
Oh,
me
it's
grab.
so pretty.
Is it the one with the floral detail? Hey.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
Oh
that's
my
the
god!
back.
And they don't ship
It's got
outside of
Yuki's name in
Japan.
Japanese.
Oh.
Honda HRC 22.
I want the other floral one. There were two. There was like a darker floral.
Yes, there's
There
a
was-
I can't
blue
say
one and a
floral.
white one.
Yeah, I
so
want
I
the
got
darker
more
one.
colors.
I got this one and the matching. Oh, it's right here actually. The banner says Yuki Tsunoda, and then I got the blue shirt because they didn't have the white shirt in stock. But
Yeah.
if I can get the white shirt as well, I might.
Contrast there.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I hope there's still stock. Well, I'm gonna be arriving on Monday, so
Yes.
I can't believe like I really don't have the money to buy merch, but I'm gonna buy something. Like I have to pay like my first month's rent and deposit for a flat and like rent a car and buy like
my
a
God.
You
clothes
get a company
steamer
car.
and a kettle. Yeah, I still have to pay for some of it. Like I have
What
to
a
pay for like a third of
scam.
it. No, because
Okay.
then I get to use it on weekends. So I'd rather pay that
okay.
extra to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Other companies, they pay for the whole thing, but you're not allowed to touch that thing on the weekends. Like, you're not even allowed to go to the shops on your way home if you're in that car. Like, it's like,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll happily pay a third of that price. I'm cool with that. That way I get some free time to use the car. But yeah, so yeah, I've got lots of costs involved with getting myself set up in Japan. But I will buy a hat because yes,
Yes.
I want a Yuki Tsunoda Honda hat that doesn't have a single bull on it because I
Yes.
don't want to give those people money.
Yeah, this one's got like Suzuka Circuit and Honda Racing School.
It's
So it's like-
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah,
That's
Honda.
great. That's so cool. Like, that's such a cool
Yeah.
hat. I really want that hat. Okay. So on that note, that's the traffic's clear, etc., etc. Go watch last year's videos if you want to know what that's supposed to sound like. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and all that's left to say is bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, play the video.
Oh yeah.
Mute yourself.